1420. And on the internet at whkradio.com. My name is Gerry Quinn. I'm going to be here until 12 o'clock today, so make sure you stay with us. Our program is brought to you by Gandalf's Pub and Restaurant in Valley City, Chambers Funeral Homes, Golf Tech, O'Neill Healthcare, PG McIntyre's Irish Pub and Restaurant, Vince's Barbershop at 18324 Lakeshore Boulevard in Euclid, and the Western Reserve Insurance Group. All of these good folks bringing you the Irish Show this morning on WHK AM 1420. Stay with us now. Our phone number 216-901-0945. Lots of visitors in the studio this morning. You're going to meet them all that are here for the great Mayo Ball weekend at the Intercontinental Hotel last night. Don't go away. Back in a minute. Are we all right, everybody?
I think so.
I'm all set.
I'll get your phone, Gerry.
Oh, you got it.
Gerry, I'll get your phone.
You know who I forgot last night? Mike Gerry, our vet.
Okay, it's okay.
I knew I was going to forget.
Yeah.
And was a rose there last night?
No, Maureen, an old rose, like from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's a scientist. She's an incredibly educated woman.
Our Ohio rose. Yeah, she's not. She wasn't there.
Well, good morning, Colleen. Good morning, JC. How do you do, you two?
Good morning, Gerry.
Good morning, Gerry.
Where is Eddie? He's recuperating from either...
Eddie was dancing away.
Dancing, still dancing?
Yes.
Or was it too much Jameson?
He wasn't sure if he'd make it today.
No.
I think
it's the latter.
I think he and Kenny, they had some kind of a contest going last night of who could consume the most Jameson.
Gerry, Quinn,
Oh,
Eddie, and Pat were wonderful and lovely, and everyone was great
And
last
Eddie
night.
was
But I must
winning that
tell you,
contest.
Colleen,
Yes.
you looked absolutely glamorous
Oh,
last night.
thank you.
You're
Thank
like
you,
a movie
Gerry.
star.
Oh, thank you, Gerry.
You're
Very
trying
nice.
to outshine me.
Oh, right.
And you did. That's easy.
That was a beautiful green dress I got for Samantha's wedding, so I was glad to wear it again. It was so nice to be there with
She
everyone.
always looks good.
So,
the
JC,
things
did
she
you have a
wears.
good time?
A wonderful time.
Get close to that microphone. I can't hear you.
How could I not?
Okay.
No, but thank you so everyone in the community who came out to the Mayo Ball. It was so great. Again, we had Marilyn Manigan, who is the head of our Ladies Ancient Order of Hibernians. And again, I'm not going to go into mentioning names. Like Gerry said, we'll get in trouble.
That's right.
And but we were very proud of Michael Gibbons, our Mayo
I did
Person of the
that. I
Year.
did that last night. I thanked a lot of people. I just acknowledged a lot of
Yes.
people, and I said at the end, "I'm sorry if I missed somebody," and of course I did. I missed the Mike Kelly, who
Right,
runs
from
the Rose
Wesley.
of Trolley, and Mike was there.
Yeah, and Maureen Hennessy,
And
Maureen
yeah.
Gannon Hennessy, one of the roses
So
from the past.
sorry for missing them, but it was a great night, and Mike Gibbons was a wonderful honoree.
Yes,
I-
it was
I
great.
really enjoyed
It was
it.
I
great.
looked
You know,
at all of your pictures on the internet this morning, Gerry.
And I didn't
I couldn't believe the people I didn't see.
I
And all
know.
the pictures
I know.
were there. Well, what are they?
Yeah.
Mike Gibbons came to me at the end of the night and he says, "Look," he said, "my sister has been listening to you for years and years," and he said, "I never knew it."
Oh.
And then he says to me, "Let's go meet her," and I was trailing behind Mike, and then I started talking to a few people, and I never got to meet her.
Right.
So if she's listening this morning, I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you, Mike's sister, last night, but we'll do that again. I'll have him back on the program, actually. And I wanted to mention also in the studio, you're going to be seeing some live music this morning from the great Bigleys, Brian Bigley and his wife, Kristen, and she is actually our executive director of the Mayo Society, and she did a wonderful job putting this whole thing together last
Kristen
night.
did a phenomenal
She
job.
and,
Thank you, Kristen.
She and Nancy Marco from
Yes, thank you.
BGL, and yourself,
Yes.
Colleen, thank you for
Turned
everything
out
you've
good.
done to make it
Yeah.
all work.
And-
Anyway, I know we should start talking. No, maybe, but I play. Brian,
Yeah.
are you fired up?
Nice.
to
Yeah,
play
we're
one
ready
more
to go.
piece?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk to our visitors. I want you to play so Sinead could hear you.
The second one is the hair in the corn.
Okay, sounds great to me.
we're really good at faking it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk to Sinead and I want to talk to Peter, because I know, here's what has happened. We thought we were going to have the whole group from last night in the studio. Well, we didn't know that, I think five, Peter? Four of the group had to go catch a plane at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so our mayor, unfortunately, our mayor has moved on along with Damien Ryan and Richard Finn, unfortunately.
And I had a lot of
yeah,
questions.
which is a pity.
So you're going to have to answer them all. So Peter, Sinead is a veteran here at this station. She's been here quite a number of times, right, Sinead? How many
That's right.
times is this?
This will be it's my fifth ball, so my fifth interview.
Oh, yeah, it's great having you. It's always great to have you. So you can do this program. So if you're ever not...
But I don't think I could fill your shoes.
Oh,
Jerry.
indeed you could.
I
Indeed
think
you could. A lot better than me. But Peter, welcome to the program. You're a Westport man. You know half of my relatives in Westport and Mayo. But what is your job with Mayo, with County Mayo in Ireland?
Well, look, first, Gerry, it's a pleasure to be here. I first set foot in Cleveland back in 1986, so it's amazing to be back here after 36 years and meeting up with folk again, and finally getting to meet you in Cleveland rather than back in Mayo. And again, just to mention the hospitality, and unfortunately, as I said, my fellow councillors can't be here this morning due to flight connection challenges. But you got the main man, you got the real mayor of Mayo. And you have, I keep telling people, Westport is the capital of Mayo.
Well, no, wait
So
a minute, right?
so these people in Ballina and Castlebar and all these other places, let them off.
Okay.
You're talking to the king of Mayo,
Oh
really.
my
I'm married to King.
And
This fella's moving
the
up.
most humble man in the country.
Absolutely, it's a
But
Westport.
listen, the county council, what's their function in the county?
Yeah, it's multifaceted, really. I suppose we are the kind of the connection, if you like, between people and the organisation. We look after all the roads, the sanitary services like in water and sewerage. Housing is a very significant portion of it. The likes of the fire service, civil defence, all of the kind of administrative stuff through the motor tax and property tax and all that other good stuff that people love to pay. So that all falls within the remit of Mayo County Council, and it keeps us on our toes.
Do you have monthly meetings?
We do. We have monthly meetings at a county level, so all 30 of us meet in Castlebar once a month. And then the county is split up into 4 distinct municipal districts. So I'm part of the Westport Dunmullet Municipal District, and we also meet then separately once a month as well. So we have 2 official meetings, but probably in between we could have any amount of other unofficials that could.
Who's the council person in that on my area? Is that
Well, Mark
Duffy.
Mark Duffy would be the main town person. Now, any Mary would hate it if she didn't get a good mention along the way. And then you have another mix of councillors around, kind of from the greater Ballina area.
How many people in the county?
There's about 150,000 people. Yeah. So and it's growing. It's the last census just came out. The draft census came out, and I think our population was going up something like around 6-7%. So it's good. The reversal in rural decline is really important for us.
Tell me, how active is Knock Airport?
It is brilliant, and I'm telling all your listeners to come to Knock. This is the best airport you'll ever encounter in your life. You drive up to the back door, you hop out of your car, you're inside in the airport in 3 minutes, you're through security in 2 minutes, you're on your plane 10 minutes later. It is the most amazing airport, and there's great connectivity now. We connect up with three airports in London. We have connections now to the likes of Milan, Barcelona, Cologne, different locations around Spain and Portugal and so on. So it really is a great airport to come to, and I really do encourage people
That's what I've
to.
heard. And what a lot of people don't know, it's got the huge long runways. You can land at
We can take them all.
747.
We can take them all.
Because I was talking to a pilot recently, and he didn't know that, believe it or not. And he said, "Oh, I couldn't land our plane there." I said, "What do you mean you can't land your plane? You take a 747." I think that needs to be advertised.
Oh, absolutely. I think one aspiration, Gerry, out of this programme, we should be looking for a direct flight from Cleveland into Knock. And I tell you, this could be the future.
That's
We've all
right.
the hundreds of thousands of
Even
people.
if we could do it once a week in the summer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know, Cleveland did it, Jerry. Do you remember?
Well, we did a lot of
did.
charter flights.
A charter
out
flight
here
in the
years ago. I
70s,
went on
the
one of them
70s.
back in the 70s.
Yes.
And we didn't land in Knock, we landed in Shannon.
Okay.
I want to move over here to Sinead. Sinead, I had the best fun with John Luskin yesterday, trying to get him to pronounce her name properly. And I don't know if he passed the test last night or
He didn't do, he's getting better year on year, so he's doing well, yeah.
He's a wonderful man. He's the vice president of the Mayo Society. I love John Luskin. He never needs a microphone. Did you notice that? He doesn't
Yeah.
need it. But let's talk for a minute about your organization, Údarás na Gaeltacht. Did you ever hear that, John Luskin, if you're listening? John.
So yeah, so I'm head of enterprise in Údarás na Gaeltacht, which is the development organisation, semi-state organisation for the Irish-speaking areas of Ireland, which Mayo has 2 Gaeltachts, Belmullet and Achill. So parts of Achill are Gaeltacht. So it's look, it is a challenging role because we're there. Our primary role is to protect the Irish language, that it's spoken daily, and that we're to grow it, and then we do that through both economic, social, cultural and linguistic development. So this is where I suppose going, how did you end up in Cleveland? And everybody was asking me last night. But it's really working with the likes of Terence and Kenny here, and they now have a language officer, an Irish language officer, and how we can protect and grow and sustain the language. So
How does the language, the resuscitation of the language tie in with industry though? How do you do that?
Well, it's simple. I suppose, Gerry, you were born in Ballina. If
Yeah.
you had a good job, you would never have come to Cleveland,
That's right.
possibly. So ultimately, what we try and Údarás support companies. Údarás themselves don't create the jobs. We support companies that create opportunities, create jobs, create wealth, and that allows local people to work and live at home and raise their families trí Gaeilge. Or more importantly, is bringing back people with experience and skills that they see now have an opportunity to come home and raise their family like they were raised. So it's very important, and I suppose what Peter was after talking about there, you know, COVID set up a lot of challenges, but it also has given us a lot of opportunities. And a lot of people felt living in big cities really isn't where they wanted to be when you only could walk 2k. There's a big difference between 2k in the centre of Dublin or London and 2k out in Achill. You know, there's a lot of beauty in Achill and in a 2k walk. But and so opportunities like working from our GTECs, which are hubs, so you can maybe work for your company in Cleveland but live in Achill. You know, that's the kind of opportunities that you work locally and have the benefit of good quality of life, but that you can work on a global scale in global companies.
How has the technological area improved along the coast? Now you're represented along the coast, it just isn't Mayo or just Galway.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what about technology? That's one of the requirements, especially big companies, the tech connection.
Well, as you know, Ireland has a very highly educated workforce, and so there's been a big step where we used to have institutes of technology. We are now converting them into universities of technology. So now in the west of Ireland, from Donegal to Galway, so that covers Donegal, Letterkenny, Sligo, Castlebar and Galway, along with a number of smaller campuses. There's now a Atlantic Technological University that has 9 campuses and over 22,000 students. So you can imagine the impact that has now along the west coast to attract industry, and not only attract industry but also create industry. You know, the entrepreneurship, we need our people to take the risks, take the chances, and we've met an awful lot, and your person of the year, Michael Gibbons, is a pure example of an entrepreneur. You know, we need those people, and we need the people then to support them growing businesses through technology.
How about grants? Does your organization give grants to companies that might call you and say, look, I got an idea to build something in Mayo? What do you say to them?
Well, Údarás is an exceptional development agency, because not only do we give grants, but we also provide premises, and we can provide premises that's bespoke to the needs of a company.
Constructed buildings?
Yes, we have a very large portfolio of property, and so for like a medical device company, we're great at refurbishing and reinventing ourselves in our buildings. So we would engage with the promoter or the entrepreneur in respect of putting a package together that suits their business plan, which would help in innovation, in lean, in in marketing and all of that, as well as helping them find talent, because you know yourself, there's a global challenge for talent. So we're looking at
Hence the education.
hence the education, hence the diaspora, engaging with the diaspora, because there are people who might not want to be away forever, that they want to come back, and that's, diaspora is a big key part of our strategy, and this is why I'm out here today to talk to yourself.
Oh, great. It's always great to have you. Peter, and of course a lot of what you do dovetails into a lot of what they're doing also. But you all work together on this, don't you?
Yeah, it's critical. Look, I mean, it's really important that we have an integrated approach to promoting Mayo as a whole, and the West area is Galway included, and right around the county, the coast. And we've an enterprise section now as part of Mayo County Council, and again, it's more catering towards smaller, the real kind of start-up businesses. But it really is an important function for the county that if someone has an idea and they want to bring it to fruition, that service is there and that kind of support is available to them. It's a really important piece of it.
All right.
Here's a quick shout out.
What?
A quick shout out, real quick. Mr.
I have to make a
yes.
confession, Gerry. If I come on the show and I didn't mention my Aunt Bridie Talty in Rocky River,
That's
I would
right.
be absolutely shocked. So I really do want to mention her. I'm delighted to be back here meeting her in Cleveland. And my other relation, Mickey Coyne, I have to give them all a plug now.
That's
I'll
right,
be in
Mickey.
deep
Yes,
trouble.
yes,
I'll be in
yes.
deep
Mickey's
trouble.
the one listening,
So it's
I think.
thank you for allowing me to do
Also,
that.
Peter, there's a family in Florida that you know well, that's Sean and Mona Burke.
Yeah.
They listen, I think, every Sunday in Florida.
Yeah.
So,
I worked for Sean down in back in 1986 for a number of months. I always say it was the best year's education of my life.
That's
So Sean and Mike were the two operators at the time in that construction
and
company.
when did you go back?
We just went back around Christmas time in '86.
And
Yeah.
they say, how long were you here?
About 7 months.
For
Yeah,
7 months.
yeah.
And was Maria with you?
No, she had more sense. She was.
hadn't
She
met
was.
her
She,
yet?
no, we definitely hadn't. I was only 18 when I was out here. So it was a very. If someone had told me back in 1986 I'd be back here 36 years later as a politician, I can tell you there'd be drug tests.
Anyway, a few weeks ago I was talking to an old friend of mine, somebody that traveled to Ireland, and he said to me, Gerry, I'm going to be so glad when this Mayo ball is over. I says, why is that, Bill? Well, he says, I don't have to listen to the green and red of Mayo again. He says, you've been playing it constantly for the past 6 months. So we're going to do it right now in honor of you guys all being here. So here's the green and red of Mayo by the Saw Doctors. Somebody told me they're getting back together, are they?
I think there's reunions
There's a
on,
rumour.
yeah. There's a rumour.
I know that doesn't have anything to do with really industry, but at the same time, it's entertainment. Here they are. Yeah, that guy,
Excellent, good.
Bill
Excellent,
Bill
good.
said that. He
Yeah.
says, man, I'm sick of that song.
Oh, I'm never sick of the song. Good.
You're
So with that-
new Mayo manager now as well, Kevin McStay.
Yeah, you
He's
know,
Ballina
I
manager.
thought,
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come out.
Oh, the new manager, the
Oh,
new
that's the
manager.
country
Yeah,
manager, he's
yeah.
talking about the
Yeah.
football
The
team.
football manager.
Who's the new
Okay.
football?
Kevin McStay. He's a Ballina man, I think.
See,
I think so.
I know you had a Kerry man there for a while.
Yeah. Well, he's come back working with him as well.
Well, you know,
Joe.
that's my
Yeah.
first cousin, the goalie, David Clark.
Oh, right. Oh, I
Clark's
didn't know that.
from
Yeah,
Ireland.
didn't know
That's
that.
the garage.
Very good.
He used to be the Opel dealer, the Opel car dealer.
Yeah.
That's my first cousin.
Okay, very good.
You see, Seamus and I were going to talk about all that.
There you are. You look at you.
Maybe
You
it's
avoided all
better
that.
he's
But Seamus did want to make sure that he talked about Ballina, so to talk about Seamus.
Oh, yeah.
And
We
so,
don't,
yeah, what do you think? Do you think we're done? Or do you want to, we'll do
If
one
you can
more
stick around a
session
while.
with them, but no, I think you got to start to call the Uber now. Like, so,
Really?
Jerry,
10:30? Oh,
gotta start to call their
it's never long enough with you
but
guys.
it's just, because I don't know how long it's going to
The
be.
next time we do this, and I
You have
said
to talk to Kristen and Brian, sure. Hey, people would actually listen to them a lot better than
This is important stuff.
They're awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, brilliant.
I think it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
important that we do this kind of thing.
Oh,
To
absolutely,
make that,
Gerry.
keep that connection
Yeah,
with,
absolutely,
with
yeah.
the home country. I know a lot of Irish programs in this country, all they do is play Irish music and talk about, and we like to talk about the local stuff too.
Absolutely,
which
yeah.
is very important. And I think it's super important to keep that connection with Mayo.
yeah,
Especially for
absolutely.
me, Mayo. And Galway too.
All right, all
See,
right.
yeah,
I mentioned Galway, yeah?
You
this,
did, you did,
this-
you did.
Yeah, there's bigger
Did you
ones.
get a picture of the sign last night? It's a great sign that we got from God. Did you
No,
see
you'll
it?
have
Yeah,
to give me.
see this
send
bigger
me a
one, it's
picture.
saying it's not gonna be here till
You'll
11.
have to send
so
me
we
a
gotta go.
picture. I didn't take a picture.
All right.
So,
Yeah,
it's saying
okay.
11.
All right.
So,
And you saw it on the screen?
Yes.
Scrolling on the screen, yeah.
so,
Because I want to tell Dora and Kale, and you know.
Can I check the charge then when
He
you
told me he
run?
was going
I don't
to,
know.
I couldn't get it in the book, but I said we could that instead.
Yeah.
Or do you wanna, should I put it to you? Okay, or do you wanna do it?
I tried this last night.
So-
Are you calling the Uber now? Or should I?
No,
And I'll
But
just-
Kenny doesn't have to leave in turns yet,
No,
right?
no, they're not leaving yet. No, I'll just do it.
no, hold on, let me see.
Peter,
It wouldn't
can
work
I
that
say
way.
hello to your wife, Marie?
You can, of course. Yeah, she'd be delighted to.
We'll ask her.
Sheila says.
Will she
goodbye.
work in Castle
Oh,
Bar
I
too?
didn't get to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
goodbye because if there was so much going on. Would you send me both her number and I never got Jean's number.
Oh, that's
So,
a bummer. Okay,
right.
yeah. No,
So
I'm gonna
send
it to you
it,
again.
send it on the two numbers so that I'll have them and I'll be able to talk. You going? Yeah?
Hoping
gonna
you
piss him
play
off?
the West
Brian's
Awake
gonna go pick
someday
up
on
the
your show.
kids,
Please
so-
say goodbye.
Oh, it's gonna go.
Was that pretty good? Yes, they will.
Marie,
Jerry,
how long you known this now?
since 1986.
I love it. Jerry, I don't know
I
if you want to
grabbed him
do
when he came back from Cleveland.
Yep, awesome, beautiful. Yeah. Are you
What
from the
is your-
same area?
We're from the same town.
Okay.
What
nice.
was your maiden name?
It is Crowley still.
What is it?
Crowley.
Crowley.
Yeah. Well, like Mary's Lane.
Yeah.
It was Michael Crowley.
Is it Crawley or Crowley?
Crowley.
Like
It's
with an O.
Southern. Oh, yeah.
Would I that be like Crowley?
Yeah, Crowley.
Oh, okay.
Same.
Sorry. No, I should do it.
No,
No.
but see, the problem is, when I click on this little thing, she said to me, we're going to do some work catch.
Now that's the last time you're going to hear that song for at least another month or 2 months. Then that'll keep Bill happy. Bill, are you happy now? I heard it last time for a month. It is 10:28 here on the Irish Show on WHK. We have some of our visitors from County Mayo that came in for the ball last night. And it's always great to have them. But we have a first-timer here with it, and that is Marie. She still goes by her maiden name. I worry about these young Irish women that hold on to their maiden name. You know, why don't you call yourself Flynn?
Well, the way it is, Jerry, there are enough Flynns in Westport as it is.
That's right.
We're about the only Crowley
And
family,
you
so
know, I
hold
have a
on to it.
cousin named Nancy Flynn that lives in Castlebar. She was married to Cyril Flynn. Cyril passed away, and that was Porrick Flynn's. Remember Porrick, the
Yes,
politician?
yes,
That was
yes.
Porrick's brother.
Oh, of
So my
course.
cousin Nancy. So I'm some sort of related through marriage to Porrick Flynn.
I actually knew Cyril Flynn.
Did you?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Cyril was that's my first cousin.
Okay.
Yes. So Nancy, his wife, you see him when you go back, say hello. How did you meet up with Peter, or did you know each other forever?
Well, we're from the same town, and I suppose we would have kind of moved in similar circles, but I actually never met him until he came back from Cleveland. And he was a little bit, probably, maybe, what would you say, open to experiences after being in Cleveland. So I grabbed him, and I haven't let him go since.
That's how many years ago I was there?
Oh, that was about 1986, I
Oh my
think.
God, that's 30
86 or
years
7?
ago.
Yeah.
You guys don't even look that
We were
old.
together a long, long time. We're married 30 years, 30 years.
That's unusual these days too.
Yeah.
But do you work?
I actually worked in Mayo County Council. I was municipal district manager in Mayo County Council in 2 districts, in Ballina, your own place, and in Castlebar. And previously I was town clerk in Castlebar for 13 years. So I worked in local government.
Oh, did you know Anne-Marie Flynn
I know Anne-Marie Flynn
in
well.
Ballina?
Yeah,
We had her on the radio a few weeks
Yeah.
ago when we did the program.
yeah, she's super girl.
Gosh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah, super. Great promotion, great for promoting Ballina and the hinterland. Yeah, Mayo North. Beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. It really is hard to compete with Westport as a tourist town. It really is, because it's just such a beautiful town. But Ballina used to be always the big industrial town in Mayo, when we had Murphy's Flour Mill and Beckett's Sawmill. They have Coca-Cola there now, and I think Hollister is there also.
Hollister is there, and they've really got a good tourism project now, and they're
Yeah.
developing it, particularly Anne-Marie, and
And
the Mayo
Maria's
North
working on it,
team.
that's right.
You know, they're bringing in, I suppose, North Mayo and Killala, which is sort of very, very historic, very archaeological. And then you've got the whole Doonbrisht and all of that. So it's, I mean, it's an amazing.
Oh, Doonbrisht is something.
It's an amazing, yeah, there's an amazing product actually,
Oh,
in
yeah.
Cage of Fields and so on. But I mean, Westport is always fabulous,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And you can combine the two, they're very close.
Yeah,
only
and very
an hour.
cool, 22 miles.
About an hour.
So you're going back today?
We are actually going back, yeah, we'll be heading out to the airport shortly.
And back to work in the coming weeks?
Back to work as soon as we can gather our breath.
Now you say, and I forgot to ask you this, Peter, is council, is it a full-time job?
It's not supposed to be,
I bet
but
it is.
but it has become one.
And you-
I joined in 1999. I was a town councillor in Westport. It was very much a part-time job, but the way the whole process has developed, it really has become a full-time job.
Sure.
I used to work in a company called Allergan. I always tell people we made all the Botox in the world in Westport.
Still do, right?
Still do, yeah. I worked 28 years there, but I mean, I know I couldn't combine that right now with being a county councillor. It's just it's just become so demanding in terms of its.
And you get calls from constituents all the
We
time,
do,
I'm sure.
we
Every
do,
day.
every day, yeah. And I suppose social media in particular has changed the dynamic completely, because in the past someone might ring you on the phone or call to your house. Now with social media you just can't escape, because people are Facebook messaging you or Instagram or
Yeah.
WhatsApp or whatever, which is fine. I mean, it's great and you get that connectivity, but it keeps you on your toes.
Well, look, you're a great couple, and I'm so delighted to meet you, both of you. This is your first trip, I mean, since you left. Did you enjoy the ball last night?
It's fantastic. And I mean, look at just to say to yourself, Gerry, I mean, what you've created over the last number of decades
Well,
is
I'm
brilliant.
not a-
I know you're a
not
modest
a-
man, a
not a
special
help.
DJ and a modest man,
Not a help.
but it's been brilliant. And Colleen and all the team that has been working behind the scenes, chauffeuring us around over the last 3 days. It really has been a privilege to meet you all, and an honour to be here on behalf of the people of
And I
Mayo.
know Mike Gibbons said to me last night at the end of the night, he says, you know, it was such a joy to meet the group from Ireland. He says, just smart people, great to talk to them, great conversationalists. He was very complimentary to all of you. So Mike is he's a great guy, very down to earth, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
I mean, a
very
man that
impressive.
travels the world, and he'll spend time, he'll talk to anyone. I introduced him to a few people last night, and I thought he would just say hello. And there he is, getting in a conversation for 7 or 8 minutes, and he saying, Mike, I want to move over here and talk to this person. He just likes to engage with people. So I hope it's not, I hope in the future that we're going to see Mike visit Mayo again.
Absolutely.
And I know you guys will treat him right when he's there.
Whenever we have that flight from Cleveland organised, we might get Mike as being the first passenger
That'd be great.
to recognise his Mayo Man of the Year award. So, yeah.
Oh, that would be.
Anyways, I'm looking forward to that flight, Gerry. I know you're going to sort this out, because I know you can make things happen. I've seen that. So I've
You
no
might
doubt.
try and make things happen from your side as well, Peter, between the two of you. You're
Yeah.
an invincible force.
We'll work on it. Thanks. I know you have to head to the airport, so good luck, safe travels. We'll talk to you soon again.
No, pleasure.
you.
Thank you very much, Gerry. It's been a pleasure, and thanks to the team.
All the best, Peter.
All right, coming up next, we're going to be done with Terrence Dever and Kenny Deary. That's coming up next. But in the meantime, here's Mike.
Safe travels.
Yeah, pleasure.
It's called Sway.
Wife, her home place, Annie, on Mary's Lane.
So how are you doing, Terrence?
I'm great, Gerry, and what an honour and a privilege to be back here again. And firstly, I want to thank you, Gerry, Colleen, and your committee and JC, and I know Eddie is not here this morning, for the work that you have put into the Mayo Society, for the itinerary that you organised for us since we arrived here on Wednesday evening. I just want to acknowledge the kindness and the hospitality that we received from everybody, and in particular from your good wife Nellie and Mary. I just would also like to say it was an honour and a privilege to be here with great ambassadors for our county and our region. Our Cathaoirleach, Seamus Weir, Chair Councillor Peter Flynn, Councillor Damien Ryan, and Councillor Richard Finn, along with Sinead Niarta, who serves our area in Achill. She represents Údarás na Gaeltachta there. For me, Gerry,
And Erla Orton.
I omitted Irla. Irla is a senior executive with Mayo County Council. Irla Morgan, a great guy and a great ambassador for the county and for the county council.
And who's this fellow you brought along with you?
Along with me is my PA of many years. I have, I think at this stage, I think I've made a good man out of him, Gerry, in all fairness. I put a lot of time and a lot of effort, and as you know, sometimes it's not easy to keep on top of him. But on today, Gerry, I have to take the opportunity live on air to wish Kenny Deary happy birthday.
Oh my goodness, birthday greetings. Kenny, what's this I hear about you saying to somebody? Now listen, I've been here 11 times or 12 times already. The itinerary here has got to change. I've got to see some new things. For instance, you want to go out to the Amish country and teach the Amish how to dance. Don't teach them how to drink though.
President Quinn, good morning. How are you?
Great to see you. And you gave a nice talk last night. You didn't go on for it. Terrence told me, he says, watch out. Kenny's got a dictionary to talk about tonight. You did. I think you cut it to about 5.5 minutes.
Well, you accused me of being 9 minutes the last time, so I definitely half that anyways.
You did a great job. Kenny, you did a great job. I know you're very tied to acting. You're a natural man all the way. But at the same time, you do have another job. Now, Terrence, you don't have to listen to this if you don't want to.
You don't
But
mind? That's okay.
He does have another job, and he is the president of the Galway Chamber of Commerce, which is a very important job. And I've talked to several people in Galway, and they said you're doing a magnificent job. And I'm not just blowing smoke when I say that. That's what I was told by several people in Galway.
Well, listen, thank you. It's very easy to do a job when you've got a place like Galway to promote. To be fair, Galway is vibrant. Really, the west of Ireland has been brilliant all summer throughout the last year since we've got on from the COVID restrictions. There has been a great energy. Tourism has been strong. Industry is strong. There's full employment. The challenge we have is getting staff,
Getting people to work.
getting people to work, trying to attract people from across the
Kenny,
globe.
do you think that might be something? I think we've run into the same problem here, is that people were getting a lot of benefits and a lot of checks from the government, and they didn't need to work. Is it the same?
There's been a bit of that, but I think it's a mixed bag as well of people who might have worked in hospitality, for example. When COVID hit, they just fell off the face of the earth. Many of them retrained, went into industry, they're working in some of the bigger corporations, and they're realizing that actually they've a good job. They don't need to go back to antisocial hours. They don't need to go back to the service industry. So there were unintended consequences, I think, in terms of some people taking new opportunities and retraining. And of course, the other thing that we have is the west of Ireland. People love to live there from across the world, but they ended up going home whenever COVID happened. I know one hotel in Connemara, and they had one group of 10 Spanish staff who had been with them for years. When COVID hit, the 10 staff went back to Spain and they haven't returned. So it's a mixed bag of stuff. The benefits certainly were very generous and they were needed, but that's tapering off and it's getting a little trickier.
Give me an idea what kind of benefits people were getting.
Well, what people were getting under the support schemes were €350 a week. And depending then on their circumstances, there could have, if there were children, depending on their living arrangement, there might have been rental supports, there was children's allowance supports kicking in as well. And the government made that decision at the time to support people who were unemployed, but actually the bigger package was also trying to support people stay in jobs, so they were also paying companies those type of benefits to keep people in jobs. So really government, I suppose, had a tricky job to balance. And some said that it was too generous, and certainly in industry, once things began to reopen, there was a lot of calls to say we need to cut off some of these supports because people weren't incentivized. If you were at home, earning $350 plus whatever other benefits, you wouldn't come into work for a €450 job where you'd be working 40 hours a week and coming in traffic and that sort of stuff. So it was a tightrope for government to fix, and it did take a couple of months.
Now, how is it now? Is it still there?
No. At this stage, things have tapered back to what the normal benefits would be. And as I say, lots have come back to work. There's great training and development opportunities. It's just some retrained and moved into other industry, and there's huge investment coming into the West. Like in Galway, and I can talk to there, we have 92 foreign direct investment or IDA companies in Galway City, and the periphery of the city. The amount of jobs that they are onboarding in the last, I would say, 2 months, we've 1,500 new jobs. They're all seeking from the same pot, and people are retraining and moving into those because they're higher value. So it's trickier then for someone in retail or for a business in hospitality to try and attract that talent.
It's amazing how similar it is to what we're going through here. Same thing. A lot of technology jobs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
So-
huge opportunities to retrain and to become a coder. I would always say, and we were on a trip in Scotland 2 weeks ago focusing on hydrogen, and it was looking at the technology crossover with renewable energy. I was saying, coming back, you'd be advising any career guidance teacher or parents advising their children, the way to look for the future is some crossover between energy and technology, because that's where the growth and the jobs are.
And Terence, what about Achill? Tourism is a huge industry for Achill, but you do look at industry also.
Of course we do.
Technology.
Achill, Gerry, has had probably 3 great seasons, 20, 21 and 22. And as you know, our seasons are just not from Easter to September. We have tourism in Achill all year round, not at the level that we would have it at peak time. But one of the things, Gerry, that has been a game changer for our parish, we opened up the GTEC. I know that Sinead alluded to this already. It's a work hub, and it's a facility. It's 2 purposes. One, it's a facility for tourists and people like that to use when they're in the area for a week or 2 weeks. But it's also to encourage people to come back to Achill, to relocate. Some people have done that. In that facility, we have 2 hubs, one with 28 seats, one with 8 seats, and we have 3 offices. The 3 offices are rented long-term to private individual companies. The 8-seater Ipsos MRBI, they're a national company and they have a base in the UK. They carry out research for government departments, etc. They have 6 people there working since November 2021. In the other area, we have people that have relocated. It's also a facility for startup. If people come in there and they want to grow a business, we can help them through Sinead's company to expand. So that is one of our probably most recent developments in Achill. And as you know, under the organisation that I work for, Colloch for Watcher Loughlin, we're about to embark on a major €600,000 project at the Achill Experience Aquarium and Visitor Centre. We're extending our aquarium. It will be probably double the size of what it is currently today. And as you know, we employ 6 full-time people there all year round. And we had 3 part-time people in there during the summer season. One of them is still with us until the end of September. Gerry, Achill, in my opinion, is doing extremely well.
It's on the move.
Yes, we have had quite a lot of people from your city with us this season. Margaret Lynch was with me pretty recently. Judge Sean Gallagher and Fergus. The gentleman that spoke last night from John Carroll. He was in our facility. We had a group of students back from John Carroll in May. Overall, Achill is doing extremely well.
Listen, when I come back, I want to talk to you about the energy crisis, because I know it's pretty severe in Europe. In the meantime, I have to pay some bills here, if you don't mind. Thank you. Now, this message from my good friend John O'Neill at O'Neill Healthcare. Stand by.
Gerry, and this came, I won't say like a bolt out of the blue, because we knew that there were energy challenges coming up, but there's been a perfect storm of actually a lack of wind, which has impacted wind-powered energy. Global warming and the weather has actually reduced the amount of hydro. Then across Europe there's a huge challenge, because our main supply coming into Eastern Europe is from our friends in Russia. That pipeline is allegedly down under service. The suspicious people would say that this is a bartering tool. And what we're facing in Ireland is a scenario where our only main supply is through a gas pipeline coming from the UK. And the UK...
Where does that cross?
Crosses from Scotland into Northern Ireland, correct.
Which is British.
Which is British, but it's ironically, the pipeline is owned by an Irish gas company, which is good, right? Because we've been in a stickier position. And there's fears, or there were fears, that the UK was going to attempt to cut off Ireland as a Brexit negotiation tool to get more favourable terms. The one good thing we have is Northern Ireland is part of the UK, and they can't do that because effectively they'd be cutting off part of their own territory as well.
Sure.
The challenge we have at the moment is that we have 0 days stock of energy in Ireland, so we're absolutely relying day-to-day basis on what comes through that. The UK has more of a stockpile. They have obviously their own gas fields, and they have LNG stocked on boats off Wales. So from it, we're really relying on our neighbours at the moment. But the whole position on a global level is really driving prices through the roof. And what we're finding at the moment in real examples is one company that I work with, they're in membership, their utility bills projected for a year will be about €1 million. They're a manufacturing facility. Their provision for this year is it's going to 3.3 million. So we're talking about a 300 to 350% increase. And bigger corporations, that's a huge challenge, but they'll be able in a lot of cases to absorb it. What you're finding is, again, tourism, hospitality, retail type premises, where the utility might be 2,500 to 3,000 a month, is now going to between 10 and 12,000. They're not able to absorb that. So there's huge pressure coming on government to try and intervene, and the challenge is, how do you do it incisively?
All right, let me ask you about the gas line that comes to the Shell oil.
Yeah.
That explored for gas off the coast in the Atlantic, off the coast, right off Westport.
Off Balmullet.
Off Balmullet.
Yeah.
Now, is that cap limited?
It's actually helping feed an aspect of our supply needs at the moment. The challenge is that's not big enough, and in the long-term basis won't continue to supply over the years. There are some who are arguing that we need to do more quickly, but as we know, that project took 10 years to get to fruition. And any work that, like, there's huge ambitions, and I think it's not, okay, there's a short-term huge challenge in terms of what do we do and how do we support businesses to get through this particular challenge, which is going to last for a few years. It really depends on how the Russia situation goes, because there's no immediate switch that can be flicked to say we have a solution. But off the shore, off the west of Ireland, in the next 10 to 15 years, it'll be a very different story. We'll actually end up being a major supplier into Western Europe, because what's really being understood now as technology evolves is offshore floating and wind in the west of Ireland will be to Ireland and Western Europe what oil was to the Middle East and what oil was to Saudi. And at the moment we're mirroring, and I was in Lorient off Normandy a couple of months ago, and they're about 10 years ahead of us in terms of a huge floating offshore project. We're really watching how that goes, because we have the capacity to do the same off the west of Ireland and service it from our ports, from Shannon Foynes, from Galway. The Galway Port of Galway Harbour Company are doing huge work in terms of positioning and preparing ourselves for this, but it's going to take government investment now. And it's not one versus the other. There will be enough of a pie to go around that will support the whole west of Ireland. So I think down the road there's an exciting future. In the meantime, we have a problem.
Do you think Angela Merkel made a terrible mistake shutting down all the power? For instance, she shut down all of the nuclear plants and all the coal plants. I thought that was a terrible judgment.
It's a very polarising debate, but there's a huge argument for nuclear. And people who say, oh no, we don't want nuclear in Ireland, don't realise that it's nuclear that's enabling us to still have supply from the UK.
Sure.
Because the UK have their nuclear plants, which is part of their supply. If they didn't have that, then they wouldn't be giving us gas.
France is all nuclear.
France is all nuclear, and other countries are putting huge
The
plans
problem
and
with
investment
nuclear,
for
though,
it.
because of regulation, it takes 10 years to build a nuclear plant.
It does, and also you run into the objection culture that
cost.
hugely is like to build any energy plant, even a hydrogen plant. And it was, as I say, I was excited in Aberdeen seeing what they've done in hydrogen. Even with that, you run into objectionism, and people don't want this stuff in their area, but yet they need energy. So we have to get that right, and we have to bring communities with us to say, listen, you may not like it. In Aberdeen, in the heart of the city, with housing developments around them, they have hydrogen facilities, and there are no safety considerations that have caused any concern at this stage. So we just have to embrace new ways of doing things. And maybe it is nuclear down the road. Certainly, as I say, the offshore renewable space will be huge for Ireland, but it's 15 years out, really.
Yeah, and the wind is fine as long as it's blowing all the
Correct.
time.
Yeah,
Same thing
yeah.
with the sun. The sun is fine as long as it's shining all the
Correct.
time. With the wind, I suppose, off the Atlantic, it will get constant source.
The challenge that you have is making it robust enough that it can survive the tough conditions in the Atlantic.
That's right.
And people tried this going back years ago, and the technology wasn't at the advanced level that it is getting there now. But in the meantime, there's a huge debate as to how government are going to be able to support businesses, and that's something we in the Chamber are hugely lobbying on, but people are concerned.
Okay. We're going up to the top of the hour, and then we're going to be right back into hour number 2 of the Irish program on WHK AM 14.
Media Group, broadcasting from the Discount Drug Mart Studios. Proud to be celebrating over 50 years as your hometown pharmacy.
Your caller. Seamus.
Could be Seamus. Brilliant.
Can we put it on? Hello? Is this Seamus?
It's back on the road again as always say after 3 years, and I really enjoyed it.
All right, Seamus, I want to ask you, what is the mayor of County Mayo? We call it the mayor. I don't use the word that much here at the Cathaoirleach because I know what it means, and Americans have a bit of a problem. They call it a tongue twister, the Cathaoirleach. But it's the chairman of the Mayo County Council, but you're also the mayor of the county. What's the job of the mayor?
Of the county, and that means that you're elected annually every year, a new chair, and that means that you have responsibility, I suppose, along my fellow councillors. We have 30 councillors in the chamber, and the councillors elect a chair, and that's what that means.
Well,
you're the chairperson of the whole of the county.
Now, it doesn't mean that you get more angry calls from your constituents, or you get them from all of them, I suppose.
Oh, of course you do, and yes, when you are the chair, you represent all of the county. So when you're a councillor, you probably deal with your own area, but as a chairperson, you have to deal with all the whole of the county, and you have a lot of different issues as well, and but like every other county and country, we have to deal with it. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. And as you said there, I've been in Europe, I've been in Cleveland in 2007 as chair. And this year, 15 years ago, time things have flew over the years, but I've seen a big change in your city. I was very impressed as we drove around the last few days. And you know yourself, it was very busy schedule. And I have to say that your kindness is overwhelming. And I'd say the people that collected us and brought us around, they were just wonderful. I felt so much at ease, and it was, it's just something that I feel heartily so much about it. And just you were sharpened as well, and I'm sure you have an awful lot more things to do, but fair play to you brought us around as well, and we met a lot of people, and a lot of very, very important people.
So, Seamus, I want to ask you this, seeing that you're from the Ballina area, the same area as I come from, do you show any particular favoritism to Ballina, and that you don't mention Achill at all? We've had a long discussion here this morning about this. Kenny Deary and Terence are complaining that the mayor is not giving enough attention to Achill. What do you say to that?
This is the point here, and I've been told a lot of times about being local, but I mentioned the county as a whole last night, and I was talking about the Mayo.ie, where we're talking about we have a web there, and that covers all diaspora, and it covers. When I speak there last night, I could just walk into a different corner. If I mention Achill, everybody knows I'm talking about the whole of the county, and I'm sure along with Achill people, a lot of people are from other parts of the county as well. And if I did mention Achill, and but I'm sure Terence is there, and no better man. Look, he can speak for Achill, because we, as a county council, we are there in support of Achill. We're aware that Achill and Cleveland are twins, and the 20th anniversary coming up next year, and I will welcome Cleveland on behalf of Mayo County Council to come and visit Achill as well as the rest of the county, because that's the way I see things. I like to be a balance, when I speak. But again, and I'd love, if I had the night, there was a lot of speakers there last night, Gerry, and I'm sure people listening don't want to be listening to details, but I did my bit and spoke, but I don't think I left any knackered people down. No way. I don't know.
You're only joking.
No, I don't mean, Seamus, I don't mean to start any feud here, but I was only joking, really. I didn't say that at all. I just made that up. No, they're great guys. They've been here for a long time, and in Cleveland many times. I know them very well. Anyway, Seamus, look, it's so great to have you back in town. I wish you could have been on the program directly this morning.
About local. You actually are from Knockmore. You're from Radduff.
Yes.
Oh, and that's where I come from, that area. So you're one of ours. So if I'm chairperson of the county, I'm chairperson of Radduff, Knockmore, all these bits, every little corner in this county, in Mayo. But I have to say, Gerry, I'm delighted to be on your show, and I met your wife Nellie last night, lovely lady. I have to say that you yourself have done so much. We're proud of you as a Knockmore man, and absolutely proud of you. And that's why I'm so anxious to get on there today. I know it'd be lovely to be there in person, but I'm here at the airport, and I just want to say to you, Gerry, I want to wish you well, and hopefully we'll see you here over in Mayo and in Knockmore very soon. And I missed you, but I have to say, you have done so much for Cleveland that it's extraordinary, and I think it should be rewarded whatever way we can for that, and great work. And
but Seamus, I must tell you, Mark Duffy conferred freedom of the city on me when I was there. I think that's the appropriate term. It's like getting the key to the town of Ballina. Oh, I never dreamed I would have a key to that one. My hometown. That's wonderful. But one last favor. Next year when we have the ball, do you think there's any chance of you moving the council meeting to bring all the councillors here to Cleveland and hold your council meeting right here from Cleveland? Wouldn't that be great?
Good idea.
Yeah, do you think you might have a little trouble getting the financial aspects of that through through your county council, though? They may not all vote first. All right. Anyway, Seamus, it's great talking to you, and it's great to have one of my own county or my own parish people. It's just wonderful to have you in our city, and you guys, when you come over here every year, you improve the great relationship we have with County Mayo, with our city of Cleveland. So. All of them. Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Seamus. It's great talking to you again. I wish it was here in the studio. And listen, give my regards to Richard and Damien and Erla. I can't that we couldn't have them in the studio this morning. We're disappointed, but the next time, let's keep our airline tickets later in the day. They are great. Thanks, Seamus, and great. I thank you for calling in. It's really wonderful. All right.
thanks, Gerry. Bye-bye.
So there you are. That's Seamus Weir, the Mayor of County Mayo. We were hoping to have all of them here in the studio, but because of conflicts in the airline industry, as you all know, it's a problem. I have Terence and Kenny still in the studio. We're going to be chatting a little bit more. In the meantime, though, I want to play a song. For some of our listeners, of course, they just want to hear music all the time. But we do everything here. We're like a community radio station. We like to highlight some of the things that you hear on the program all the time. In the meantime, here's the high tunes. And my two grandsons, whenever I ask them, what song do you want to hear? They said, play Whiskey in the Jar. I said, circle it, you two. keep quiet. They're 10 years old, 10 and 11, and they want whiskey in the jar. And he doesn't have to pay Kenny's bills. He's happy. Kenny, what do you say to that? No, and I want to get serious about this now, but you guys both together have worked hard for years promoting Achill and making it a great tourist attraction. I do notice though that even on social media, Achill gets a lot of coverage now, and because the beaches and just the scenery, it's magnificent.
It is, Gerry. We have 5 blue flag beaches.
Now what does that mean?
It's status for clean water area. It's tested twice a year, and it's a European-wide initiative, and we're very fortunate in Mayo to have so many blue flags, but Achill has 5 of those. Gerry, if I can just mention, I'm coming here, my first visit here was in January 2000, and I was back in 2001 for St. Patrick's Day Parade, and I came back for the Twin in 2003. I've missed a couple of years, but today I'd like to remember the people that invited me here. Great people. Joe Patton, Steve Malloy, Con Mangan. And it would be remiss of me not to mention those guys. We would never have met.
All gone.
All gone, but great guys. Steve Malloy, Judge Sean Gallagher, they masterminded the Twin. And as you know, the Twin is a huge success.
Yes.
That's why, you know, it's part of us being here each year. I would also like to mention today, Gerry, and I've got several texts and messages there, people listening in to the program back in Achill.
Oh, nice.
I want to...
Kate O'Malley on?
I presume Kate always listens to it. I'm a great person from a great family. But I'd like to mention our board of directors of CFAA, our staff, all our board, but all our staff, and today, believe it or not, we would have 5 staff on in the Aquarium and Visitor Centre, and some of those are listening to us. I want to mention, I omitted earlier on to mention Eddie and Pat Fitzpatrick for their kindness and hospitality to us here over the past number of days, and to everybody, Kathleen Mangan, everybody. We met Mary, Malloy, Annie B, TJ, Michael Murray and his good wife. We met in the Cuyahoga County. Great Achill people have gone to great places. Mike Chambers, Mike Dever, Michael Mark McNulty's wife, I cannot think of her first name. Great, you know, it's great to go into these places and see. Marty Sweeney, a super guy. I know Marty since I first came to Cleveland.
Yes.
He's a super guy with very strong connections in Turnerigee and in Curran.
I think, Gerry, just one or two things to clarify. First of all, on the cost of me, it's about value for money. I actually think I'm fairly cheap. There's good value for money coming back. On the blue flag beaches, Terence is 100% right, but actually Achill is the only place in Europe that has 5 blue flag beaches. And I think it's a testament to the work of the local authority in terms of trying to preserve and maintain that quality. But that's why we get such coverage, because imagine at a European level it's the only place that has that concentration of blue flag beaches.
But I remember maybe 20 years ago there were not that many buses going into Achill. There's a lot of them now, isn't there?
We have a daily service. It's TFI, Transport for Ireland, replaced, it's Bus Éireann, replacing Bus Éireann, it's called TFI. We have a daily 6 buses in, 6 buses out. It's a fantastic service. Years ago we used to have 3 buses. It went down to 1 bus, 1 service out and 1 in. Today it's 6 services. And my understanding from people, they are being well used, Gerry, throughout Achill and probably throughout all of rural Ireland.
I think a big bit as well is the private operators, so the amount of tours, and you know this yourself, leading many of the group tours up and down the West Coast. The Wild Atlantic Way and the branding of the Wild Atlantic Way has been phenomenal. That's drawn thousands of extra visitors in that you wouldn't ordinarily see, so that's bringing a huge flow of private coaches as well. And Achill, by virtue of the stunning scenery and the natural landscape we have, you know, is getting the lion's share of those tours as well, which is huge. The challenge we have, we've fantastic accommodation product in Achill, but some of the locations aren't big enough to take the numbers on the coaches. So some will be staying in Westport or staying in Ballina, but the likes of Achill is an anchor that draws them to the county.
Do you think one day there'll be a huge hotel built in Achill?
We hope, Gerry, one day that will happen. Not sure. I'm not sure in the current.
What is the biggest hotel in Achill right now? How many rooms would you say?
I would say it would be probably Austin and Alice's or Compton's. You'd be up on about 40 bedrooms in each place.
That can accommodate a tour.
And then right beside Achill, as you know, you have the Park Inn in Morani, which is a fairly big,
lovely hotel.
Oh yeah, huge hotel as well. But we have the accommodation base, as Kenny said, you know, in Keendle, in any area, and we're not too far away, villages aren't too far away. You'd fit a number of coaches, and we do get tour groups in, and they stay in different places. They break up and go into different locations.
And of course, Gerry, as well, we got and have been receiving and look forward to next year again, the St. Ignatius Walsh Jesuit Holy Name tours coming in, and that's brilliant, and actually that's the model that Terence talks to. We break them up so the coach comes to a central point and then they immerse themselves in the community. They live across a number of houses. There's a bit of ferrying around here and there, mapping everybody, but actually it's a really rich experience. So sometimes when groups come in, as you know, they stay in hotels, but you can get hotel fatigue after a week or two. There's nothing better than staying in a home with other people, and that's a brilliant way of doing it as well for people who want to immerse themselves in Achill.
How about water skiing?
Water skiing or water schemes?
Water skiing. I thought there was some.
Oh, there is. So what we have is you have your kite surfing.
Parasailing.
There's parasailing. There's the kite surfing. Then you've got we've a fantastic water sports amenity. You've got your surfing, your kayaking on the lake.
That's what I meant.
Exactly. I thought initially it was water schemes you were asking us about. I was like, Jesus, Terence, you can take that one. But the outdoor pursuits facilities that we have is just brilliant, and it's amazing. You know, for those who are a bit nervous, you can go in on Keel Lake and you can do your kayaking and you can do a bit of activities there. Because in a worst case scenario, and it's happened myself where I got a stitch in the kayak, is you can get out and stand up and it's up to about chest level, and then try and get back in the kayak again, so you're safe enough. And then out on the beaches, for those who are a bit more adventurous, there's fantastic providers. And you know, it's interesting, when we bring groups down to Keel Beach, people are a bit nervous. First of all, depending if you're not used to it, you've got the wetsuits, and getting into the wetsuits and getting out of the wetsuits is not the most flattering. But the instructors, everybody's lined up and everybody's a bit wary of how they look and what they're going to do. They do this great thing where they make them all dance the hokey pokey on the beach before they do anything else. And it just is a great settler, and then off into the water under instruction. Brilliant.
So you're into wetsuits. Yeah.
You're into wetsuits. The providers are all along the, let's say if we're looking in Keel Beach in particular, it's the most optimum for it, both on the lake and on the beach. There's 3 to 4 providers. They have all the facilities that you need and brilliant instruction. And of course you're under lifeguard instruction as well. So if anything does go wrong, there's plenty people there to help.
What do you think of getting JC in a wetsuit?
I'd say JC's figuring out would be better than some of the rest of us getting in, and actually whatever about getting into the wetsuit, you need help getting out of the damn things.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. All right, let's play a song here. Here's the Young Wolf Tones. No, I'm not.
Partnership between City Council, the Chamber of Commerce, the Culture Company and the Convention Bureau. This week we have a group in from Wisconsin, we have Seattle in. We've 2 corporations bringing their leadership teams over. I'm meeting some of them tomorrow. So every week there's just huge energy in terms of what's happening. And of course, you know, that really helps drive the west of Ireland, the amount of people from Mayo who are employed in Galway. And there's a running joke in some of the Galwegians will say that the Mayo Mafia need to go back up across the border and stop trying to take the big jobs in our city. So the more Mayos that I see coming around the city and getting good jobs, it's like brilliant.
But I have a suggestion. We have an orchestra here, a Baroque orchestra, and it's called Apollo's Fire. And they did a tour of Northern Ireland and England a few years ago. And the London Times, is it? Whatever the newspaper.
Yeah.
They gave them a brilliant write-up, said one of the best orchestras they've ever seen. It's so I could put you in contact. Yeah, in fact, Brian Bigley sometimes plays with them. Brian was just here. Apollo's Fire, and I'll give them your number. And see if
Do
you
indeed.
can. I think Galway would love them.
We welcome everyone and anyone from no matter where in the world, and I think that's part of the success.
But it's a very international city,
It is.
isn't it? Galway.
25% of the population is non-Irish now. And the two, so we always had University of Galway, but now GMIT has revolved into the Atlantic Technological University. So the two of those are powerhouses for drawing talent from across the world, and then with industry, you're bringing lots of international people as well in. So the city is it's a real hotbed of dynamic cultures, diversity, and really welcoming, you know.
Galway changed the name from NUIG Galway, and now it's called Galway University,
It's
right?
University of Galway
University
is
of
the
Galway.
present. It's always tricky with the amount of organisations that have gone through rebranding in the last few years. I'm thinking, will they all stop changing their names because you can't remember them? But it's University of Galway, and of course the Atlantic Technological University. So between the two of them, we're really lucky to have that strength and capacity in education.
Now, Terence, did you ever hear of a fellow named Joe Dolan? Joe Dolan?
I did indeed, yes, from Mullingar.
That's right. Well, here he is. You probably did your dance into this guy. I'm not saying that you're old or anything. You're not as old as I am,
Yeah.
but you probably remember him, right?
Of course I did.
All right, here he is. I'm sure you remember this. Remember this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
More
it
and
at all.
more and more. Turn it up.
You don't remember him.
No,
Years before your time.
I'm more a Harry Styles and Lady Gaga person.
He had the #1 songs in South Africa and places all over the Middle East, but never made it into America. I never could figure that one out.
I don't know. I cannot answer that, Gerry, but he was definitely
Oh, what a showman.
a showman. He was #1 all over the
Europe.
world, but well, all over Europe. But in Ireland, oh my God, yeah. I remember him being down in what was the Traveller's Friend Hotel
Castlebar.
in Castlebar, and they announced, I think about maybe a couple of months beforehand he was coming. A few days later, people from Achill went looking for tickets.
Not
Sold out.
sold out
Yeah.
instantly, yeah. He really was.
Not sure was Kenny there, but anyway.
No.
Before my time.
Kenny is too
Yeah.
young. Terence, I hope that you guys continue doing the great work with acting you've been doing, because since I got to know you, I was in acting many years ago, before I even came out here. I think that was the farthest I ever was from home, was in acting. No, I was in boarding school, so but I've been there once, and the changes that have occurred since you fellas took over, you've worked hard on the tourist business, and you brought a lot of good technology to acting, which was needed. How is that thing doing, where you give people a computer and they can touch where they want to go?
Oh, the remote working.
What do you call it?
Remote working.
Yeah.
So there's a huge move, and it's interesting. The west of Ireland has really benefited from people coming out from Dublin, from London. They don't need to be in their jobs. It's supposed to be an evolution all around the world, but as long as they head back 1 or 2 days a month to their corporate office,
Sure.
they can operate from anywhere. And it's been transformational for people. It's also brought life to communities that didn't have it, or it was tapering off. It's bringing investment around the region. Some will critique that it's driving house prices up a little. Listen, I think that's a good thing. There's plenty of houses in rural Ireland that need occupancy, and certainly from an ACL point of view, we're thrilled with it. As Terence mentioned earlier, the GTEC, it's now giving you a base, because some houses in locations still struggle a bit with Wi-Fi and with connectivity. And the last thing you want, I've been that soldier myself. I remember where I was hosting an event one day and I was supposed to deliver a keynote to it, and it's been 2 days working, prepping for it, and about 5 minutes in I can hear them saying, we've just lost Kenny, we can't hear you there. So you can't have that, but the beauty of the GTEC means for the really important gigs where you're not just passively part of a meeting where you have to contribute, you can go have constant high-speed connectivity in our hub in Achill Sound, in the privacy of an office, and you can deliver to a boardroom or deliver to across the world.
Did that all come about by that new transatlantic cable?
No, that hasn't been. So that's important at a national level, but actually and it's not even fibre that we have, and indeed many of the GTECs across the network don't have fibre, but what you have is just fantastic satellite driven connectivity, and the reliability is as strong as our needs anyways. You know, if it's a case that you were running a corporation with 300 or 400 staff, you would need fibre. But for what we are, and maybe servicing 20 to 30 people operating from the facility, then what we have is world class. You know, it's perfect. You don't need fibre everywhere. I think that's the key message, as long as you have a strong, reliable alternative. And in many of our homes, we have strong connectivity, but just if you're delivering something really important or you're uploading. So for example, one of the key things with the GTEC last year, when we had 2 movies made in Achill, and the film production crews were able to do so much off-site, but whenever they needed to upload their content, it was into the likes of the GTEC and our facility because it was strong enough to do that.
Now you need to contact Bill Garvey and get him to get over there and do a movie.
We'll welcome him. Ironically,
Oh no, wait a minute though. He's supposed to do that here in Cleveland. You better not do that, he might get fired from his job if you send it somewhere else. Did you get it? You met him last night, did you?
I did.
Bill?
I did indeed.
I didn't meet Bill.
You didn't see him last night?
No, I didn't. And I just, yeah. There's so many people there. When you stand up talking, Gerry, for 5 minutes to one, it could take 10 minutes, but I got through a lot of people, but I didn't meet Bill, unfortunately.
I think, Gerry, I did so much talking last night, I only cost you about 3 drinks. I didn't have time to be going to the bar or doing anything. There
was really good.
there were so many people there, and I think, you know, the ball hasn't been on in 3 years.
Yeah.
And the appetite and the energy of the people who were there just to catch up, to talk and say hello was you know, it's more than ever before, because people just have a desire to get back and to engage. And the amount of people who are talking who either had been in Ireland this summer, have been in Achill, or are making plans to come and looking to get a bit of help and direction in terms of what they're going to do in the west of Ireland, it's really encouraging.
Wasn't it great to see our ambassador out and about like he was? He was in his glory last night. And of course he and Mike Gibbons, Ambassador Crawford and Mike, are old friends. Probably one of the greatest entrepreneurs we've ever had in Cleveland. And you know how he started with nothing, and Mr. Crawford started with nothing and ended up our ambassador.
Yeah, I spoke to him briefly last night, and we did invite him when he was in Ireland as ambassador to come to Achill. But
it was a tough time for him though.
I know.
With COVID going on, it was really, really hard. He told me that every place he went, he had to do all this security, and there was just a lot of restrictions everywhere. It was actually the worst time to be in that type of job. Very, very difficult. But he got through it, and he's come back with, I don't know if you knew it or not, but there's going to be in Kent State University. He donated the money to build the new Crawford Business Center. He donated $40 million to Kent State University, and they're going to be they are building it right now, Crawford Business School, and that's
Putting a dorm up also there for the students.
what, JC?
Putting a dormitory up for the students.
Yeah, but it's a big facility
In the school.
at Kent State. So anyway, it's 11:51 here on the program. Tom Kelly is in the studio. I see in studio number 2 ready to fire up. God knows what he's going to talk today, but I'm sure Joe Biden will creep into the conversation one way or the other, and it probably won't be too complimentary to Joe. So if you like that, make sure you tune in to Tom. He's one of the best. By the way, a lot of people don't know this, but Tom used to write for a program on television for years called Laugh In. I don't know if you ever had that in Ireland or not, but it was one of the most successful comedy hours. So Tom was one of the writers for that organization. It's a very smart guy.
hello to Tom and Anita Scanlon, and thank Tom and Anita for their kindness and hospitality to us over the years.
Oh,
and finally,
for so many years, Thomas.
Finally, I want to thank the people of Cleveland City that has supported our organisation since the past number of years and still supporting us. We much appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. Mr. Kenny,
I just reiterate Terence's comments, and listen, I said last night, the west of Ireland is open for business, we're open for tourism, we want to see more, to trade more, to do more. So I think that's one message that really delivered. And just at a personal note, yourself and Nellie, Eddie and Pat Fitzpatrick, I left their house the other night and this year nothing was broken, so that's always a good outcome. But I want to thank them for their generosity, Colleen and Brian Bay, and just the whole community who have been our Uber drivers, who have been our supporters over the last few days.
How about the screen doors in all these houses? Are they intact?
Yes, one night I left the screen door with an imprint in it, all right, but nothing was broken on this visit, so that's always a good start.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kenny. Here's a piece that was recorded in Hughes's pub in Spittle, County Galway, with some of the great people of rock and roll in Ireland, like one of the Song Doctors, the Waterboys. But it was recorded in Hughes's pub a good many years ago. And we call it the Hughes Band. But it's actually the name of the piece is called The Bucks of Moor. Yeah, the guy, one of the guys from U2 was playing in this. Yeah, it was kind of an impromptu session that took place. And they were all there. And somebody had the presence of mind to record it.